We have a very interesting report that is coming out. Apparently, Austin Reaves is looking to opt out of the 2026-2027 season, and he is hoping to get over $30 million per season. This is a report that's coming out by NBA insider Eric Pincus. What this guy is basically saying is that Austin Reaves is expected to test free agent market next summer and could be seeking a starting salary of $30 million per year. Eric says the following, and I quote, "Reaves is nearly sure to decline his $14.9 million player option for the 2026-2027 season to explore unrestricted free agency next summer. He is seeking a salary in the $30 million starting range. The most he can extend with for the Lakers is $19.5 million, which is obviously sort of that number." So let's talk about what this report means, because so many people have speculated, how much money does Austin Reaves actually want, right? Will he sign an extension with the Lakers, which could put him roughly around $22 to $23 million per year in terms of the annual average over the course of that contract? Or will he say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and opt out, and if I opt out, I'm going to go out there and try to get north of $30 million, right? Maybe he gets $35 million from the Utah Jazz, right? Maybe there's a team out there, Sacramento Kings, who knows, right? Maybe Austin Reaves goes out there and says, I could get a ton of money if I opt out. And according to Eric Pincus, that's exactly what this guy is potentially planning on doing, which also means for the Lakers, you got to figure this out before that time comes. And honestly, there's only 2 or 3 options that the Lakers realistically have, because if you think about it, if the Lakers say, hey, we're going to go in with Austin Reaves currently being with the Lakers, and we're going to just let him play out this season, and we'll try to bring him back at the end of the season, right? Assuming Austin Reaves is going to opt out after this season going into next summer. And then what if the Lakers end up not being able to match anything or get a sign and trade type of deal? And what if Austin Reaves just basically walks for nothing, right? The Lakers will take a massive hit, especially given that Austin Reaves is a huge asset. He is arguably the best number 3 option in the NBA. And even if he was considered a number 2 option, is a very damn good number 2 option, at least in my opinion. We saw what this guy was able to do at the end of this past season, right? The Lakers had multiple players that were out. Multiple guys were hurt, right? Rui missed time. LeBron missed times. Jackson Hayes missed time. There's other guys that kind of missed time as well. And it was Austin Reaves that kind of stepped up and helped the Lakers win multiple games towards the end of that season. To me, what Austin Reaves did for the Lakers last year was really impressive. 20.2 points per game, 4.5 rebounds per game, and 5.8 assists per game, all while never truly being like the number 1 or number 2 option, or he was always kind of the number 3 guy. If Austin Reaves becomes the focal point where he is a number 1 or a number 2, his stats go way up, and we don't even know what the upside of Austin Reaves is. The guy's 26 years old, so he can get so much better still, right? But for the Lakers, that takes you back to the point where you got to figure it out, right? If he does want north of $30 million, can you make that happen? And sure, there might be a world where LeBron James retires and Austin Reaves is able to be given that contract. But there's also a world where LeBron James doesn't retire and he decides to play 1 more year. And there's a possibility where Austin Reaves ends up walking. Now, from a contract perspective, the Lakers do also understand that, this season coming up, Austin Reaves is going to count $13.9 million against the cap. To me, that is such a huge benefit for the Lakers, right? Only incurring a $13.9 million cap hit is arguably one of the most, it is one of the most beneficial contracts for any team, right? It's one of the most favorable contracts because Austin Reaves has well outperformed that already. To me, really solid contract for the Lakers for the upcoming season. But again, the player option is going to be the one thing that a lot of people are going to talk about here, right? A $14.8 million cap hit next season. He is not going to play under that cap hit. He's going to want more money. And again, for the Lakers, an extension made sense maybe earlier on, but obviously at this point, Austin Reaves is going to test the free agency market, right? He's not going to want to, sign for 22 or 23. I think it logically makes sense. He gets, he wants north 30 because he'll probably end up getting that. Right? There are teams out there that will pay him that type of money. Now, again, for the Lakers, you got to figure it out as you kind of go forward. If he wants $30 million, do you trade him? Now, there are some Lakers insiders that don't think the Lakers will trade Austin Reaves this offseason. Insider Jovan Buha actually does not think the Lakers will be trading Austin Reaves this offseason. He put it out there, and I quote, "I think the possibility of Austin Reaves being traded is actually low, at least this summer. This is something that we reported at The Athletic. For those who missed it last week on Friday, I had a big report with Sam Amick, One of the things that we reported there is that the Lakers do not want to trade Austin. That's something I've continually heard for over 3 years now. That's something I've reported multiple times over the last few years, that the Lakers have a high bar for trading Austin. They value him and view him highly. Forget what we've reported and what we've heard behind the scenes. Just look at the public messaging where JJ Redick and Rob Pelinka both spoke highly of Austin during the Lakers' exit interviews last week. Rob Pelinka called him one of the pillars of the organization, which is kind of crazy. It's a very, very, very crazy thing to say of a player, but it does make sense, right? Buha continues, going back a couple of months, JJ mentioned Austin in that conversation that he, LeBron, and Luka had about the state of the offense. And at that time, and JJ said at that time, of course, Austin would be included in this conversation. So JJ thinks highly of Austin. Rob thinks highly of Austin. Jeannie thinks highly of Austin. So I don't expect Austin to be traded this offseason, despite a lot of people willing to sell him for 20 cents on the dollar, 40 cents on the dollar, 60 cents on the dollar. What Jovan Buha is saying here makes so much sense. And I agree so much with so much of what he's saying. But I also do take a step back, and I also do look at the bigger picture. Right, Rob Pelinka did commit to Austin Reaves, right? He did put it out there just recently that, hey, going into next season, we're committed to the trio of LeBron, Luka, and Reaves. That's kind of what we're committed to, right? And Pelinka put this out there publicly so the world kind of knows that, hey, this is what we're thinking. But we also have to realize, if Rob Pelinka is saying something, is he potentially putting it out there so that he can drive the value up just a little bit, right? What if the Sacramento Kings call the Los Angeles Lakers and say, hey, we want Austin Reaves and we're willing to give you a second round pick and that's it. But with Pelinka making this comment and he says no, well, now the Sacramento Kings have to offer more. Now it's not just a second round pick. Now it's a first round pick. Now it's a bonus. Now it's this. And now the Kings are putting it out there that, hey, we've offered multiple different things to the Lakers and they've said no. Now the Utah Jazz are going to offer even more for Austin Reaves, knowing that the Lakers aren't really trying to move him. Right, paired with what Rob Pelinka kind of said. And obviously, I'm just kind of using over-the-top example. Obviously, Austin Reaves' value is much higher than a second-round pick. But the point stands. What if Rob Pelinka kind of putting this report out there and saying what he said is to ultimately drive up the value of Austin Reaves? Right, every team is going to want to, every team's going to want to take the lower end, right? When it comes to giving up something for Austin Reaves. No one's going to say, hey, we're going to give up multiple first round picks, multiple players, only for Austin Reaves, right? Multiple teams are going to say, we're going to give you a player, but we want Austin Reaves and, X, Y, and Z, right? Essentially, my point is this, what logically makes sense for the Lakers to kind of go forward is to actually, if you're not sure if Austin Reaves will sign a contract with the Lakers, assuming he opts out and then re-signs with the Lakers on a brand new contract, if you're sure that the number hasn't been agreed to this offseason, I think it would be bad value for the Lakers to not trade Austin Reaves this summer. And I say that because, you could trade him in the middle of the season, but usually middle of the season trades where you're trading one of your big 2 or 3 guys, it doesn't generally work out, right? If you're trading a guy like Austin Reaves, who is going to be a big part of the Lakers if you go into the season with him, it wouldn't make sense to trade him in the middle of the season and then that too, you're adding like a big in the middle of the season. That just doesn't make sense, right? You need to make that trade this summer or don't make the trade altogether, but then you risk losing a guy like Austin Reaves. Now, of course, Austin Reaves' agent doesn't think Austin Reaves is going anywhere. In fact, he tweeted this. He said, next year is going to be a show. People really have no idea what's to come. Keep putting him in trade rumors for second string centers. Aaron Riley is the agent of Austin Reaves. He's basically putting it out there. Keep putting Austin Reaves in trade rumors for second string centers. Now, here's the thing. Austin Reaves is not being traded for a second string center, right? Austin Reaves, if he's traded, is going to be traded for a guy with, either a guy that's established, right? Like Giannis, for example, which probably not going to happen, but Giannis, for example, would be like the guy that's established. Or if you're going to trade Austin Reaves, it would be for a guy that has like tremendous upside, right? A guy like Nicholas Claxton, right? A guy like Jaren Jackson Jr., right? A guy that was, he's an elite two-way big, right? He's one of the guys that has been regarded as one of the best defenders in the NBA. He's a guy that has proven himself. Or if it's not Jaren Jackson or Claxton, there's a couple of the guys, right? Daniel Gafford's another guy that's been kind of thrown around. Miles Turner, some people have talked about, although I don't know 100% if he would be the guy for the Lakers. But, there's been guys that have been kind of thrown around. To me, the Lakers are either going to go all in with the Giannis type of player, and it might not be Giannis exactly. It could be a different guy. Or they're going to get a guy that, as Aaron Riley said, maybe they are second string centers, right? That probably isn't the right term, but like they're guys with a ton of upside. And again, just taking a step back, I think it makes sense for the Lakers to really consider trading Austin Reaves, especially if he truly wants north of $30 million, right? Not that I don't think Austin Reaves is worth it. I still question if the pairing of Austin Reaves and Luka Doncic together, I still question, like, can they make that work, right? Or do the Lakers need to say, hey, if Luka's the starting point, we need to get a defensive guy next to Luka, right? A guy that could be really, really, really heavy defensively. Maybe he can control the ball as well and play some offense. But like the Lakers just got to figure it out from a coaching element of what's going to work, right? Not that what the Lakers had last year wouldn't necessarily work, but I'm not 100% sold on it, right? I feel like one of the things we saw multiple times last season was when teams got bigger, when teams, when teams put their centers in, forward, 6'11" guys, right? The Lakers kind of struggled a little bit. And even against the Timberwolves in that first round matchup, one of the things that I feel like I noticed right away was the Lakers. I think the Lakers realized it pretty quickly that, hey, the Timberwolves are obviously bigger than us. Instead of trying to match what they're doing, let's go in and try to use this small ball lineup. And we didn't really even see Jackson Hayes play all that much against the Wolves. I almost feel like the Lakers went with that approach because they knew they couldn't necessarily put their bigs in and have success, right? And to me, that's a huge issue. At the end of the day, having a guy out there that's like 7 feet tall that can hit threes or play defense or can run down the court, maybe it's a two-way big, to have those guys is a huge, 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 huge privilege in the NBA, right? And then on the other end, if the other team has it and you don't have someone to kind of match that, you're going to be outmatched, right? In my opinion. So again, I think for the Lakers, you got to figure it out. I'd be cool with keeping Austin Reaves as well, but I just think for the Lakers, you got to really add to try to win championships. And, you're not going to be able to bring in Jaren Jackson Jr. and not give up Austin Reaves. It's just not going to happen, right? Like, no team's going to make that trade, or even Nicholas Claxton, right? You're going to have to give up players like Knecht or even Rui Hachimura, right? So, again, the Lakers will figure it out. I trust in Rob Pelinka. I know some people don't like him, but I think he's done a phenomenal job for the Lakers up to this point. Obviously, the Lakers gave him that extension like a month or two back for a reason, right? So, let me know what you guys think, man. What are your guys' thoughts if Austin Reaves actually truly does get north of $30 million? Do you guys think that is worth it? And would you guys go out of your way, for the Lakers to bring this guy back? Like, let me know what you guys think. Comment down in the comments below. Thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time with another video.